You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. The Manitoba Band Association is a non-profit charitable organization which fosters, promotes, and encourages the establishment, growth, and development of bands and band activity in the province. And they're doing it under the guidance of a new executive director. As of today, Brent Johnson takes over as the ED of the MBA, and his first order of business, an interview on Winnipeg's Classic 107. Good to see you, Brent. Congrats on the new role.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on this morning.
Well, I got to ask, how's the gig been thus far?
Well, great. I haven't even logged into my email yet, so it's awesome.
Well, so appreciate you coming down to chat about this new role. And of course, you're no stranger to the music community here in the city. You spent over a decade at the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. You've been actively involved with the International Music Camp and so much more. What made you want to take on the role of executive director at the Manitoba Band Association?
You know, it's an organization that has meant a lot to me for a long time. I think actually I will be earning my 25-year, whatever they give you for 25 years of membership in the fall. And it's the community that created me essentially as a young musician, a music educator, and later on as an arts administrator. So I'm just excited to be returning to it in a new capacity and engaging with the members and just experiencing all the awesome music making that happens out there.
I mean, you mentioned you're coming up on your 25-year, let's say it's a pin, but you're 25 years involved with the MBA. Can you tell us a little bit more about your involvement with, I guess, just bands in Manitoba?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was a band student in middle school and high school, and it's a place. The band room was my home, essentially, in both of those school ages. And my band teachers were and still are mentors to me, and that continued through university. Kids need that in schools. They need that place that they can call home, that place where they fit in, where they belong, and they can thrive and grow, be encouraged. My high school band director looked at a young grade 10 me in the fall of my first year of high school and said, "Hey, you should, have you thought about joining the wind ensemble?" And I was like, "Oh, no, there's no way I play well enough to do that." She said, "Oh, come on out. It's Monday nights after school." So I gave it a try, and of course I fell in love, and it just continued to grow from there. I've been a member of the Winnipeg Wind Ensemble since 2005, another amazing group that is a great community, a musical outlet, and a musical challenge for me as well. And there's just so much great music out there for folks to experience.
So we've talked a little bit about how you've kind of gotten to this point in your career and your involvement with the Manitoba Band Association. Where do you see things going? What does the MBA look like under your leadership moving forward?
Well, community is such an important part, particularly, band programs, music programs generally in schools were severely impacted by COVID and are still feeling the after effects of that, and combined with funding challenges in the school system. Often music programs are the first things to be affected, which is so counterintuitive because they're the things that bring it all together. They exemplify students' humanity and community, and these are things we need right now. Kids are used to particularly post-pandemic. I mean, my kids are 9 and 12 years old. Screens, way too much screens. I mean, imagine trying to educate a kindergartner who's illiterate through Seesaw on an iPad. I tell you, that thing just about found its way out the window and under a bus a few times. And that has continued. Kids have so many screens all the time now. They're used to things that provide instant gratification, but life's not like that. You need things that are a bit more of an investment, and things that you do with other people, other humans. And music is that. Band is a bit of a long game. It's a little challenging up front. My oldest boy is 12 years old in grade 7 this year and is a newly minted clarinet player. And the fall was hard. It squeaks and squawks and doesn't really do what you want it to do. But something clicked around Christmas time, and he has a new attitude in the new year, and he comes home talking about the pieces they're learning in band and getting ready for their spring concert now. Even though sports appears to be his passion, I don't know how that happened in a family of 2 musicians, but anyways, we will foster that as well. But it's really been exciting to kind of follow this beginning band journey through my son this year.
Obviously, community is at the forefront when we're talking about music as a whole, but especially with band, because I mean, it's sort of in the name. I mean, there is, I guess, the proverbial one-man band, but really you are doing this collectively with others. And you've sort of already touched on this point, but I was curious, like, in addition to coming out of COVID and all of the challenges that presented, what other kind of difficulties are there within the band community? I mean, you mentioned funding and just making sure that it's there and present. What other challenges do you see for the MBA?
You know, for a lot of things, it's still just a bit of that rebuilding, getting folks out. You know, I think that's continued to improve this year. Obviously, I've just come off of 13 years at the WSO, where the same effects are being felt. Audiences have been wonderfully responsive and supportive there this year, which is encouraging. And I think the same for community bands, band concerts. I had the honor and the privilege to be invited to Elmwood High School's arts celebration Thursday evening, just this past week. And I was blown away by the heart, the passion, the humanity that was on full display that evening in a gym absolutely packed in a way that they hadn't seen since before COVID, with folks who were there to celebrate these learners and music makers. The full admin team was there, which was really nice to see. And I had the opportunity at the invitation of Mr. Sawatsky, the band director there, one of the band directors, to say a few words about music and community, and so I shared a few things, and that was really nice. But it was just so heartwarming to see all the amazing things that are going on there. I want to highlight, I don't remember their names, but there were 4 grade 12 students who were highlighted at the concert. These are students who've been in band all the way through and will be graduating this year. And obviously, you know, just given timing, their band experience and their school experience as a whole was severely impacted by COVID, but they stuck it through. And there were these 4 really neat kids who were playing in every band that they could, of course, because that's what band kids do. God bless them. Yeah. And they were, you know, I could tell these were neat humans, and they're going to go off and do really neat things in, beyond high school.
Yes, I mean, there's just so many wonderful communities that are putting in some incredible work and making some incredible art, musical art. I know our own music director here, Chris Wolf, often is at Elmwood. He's actually headed there right now, I'm pretty sure, to do another clinic working with the clarinets there. They do such a fantastic job. But there are so many schools and bands across the middle years and high school years that are just doing some incredible work. And a little bit more of that is going to be on display because you're going to hit the ground running. The Level 1 Festival is happening this week. I don't know if you know, Brent, but it's happening this week. I know you're well aware. Taking place Wednesday through Friday before setting up shop in Brandon on the 24th. Can you tell us a little bit about the festival?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. So this is a festival that's designed for the youngest learners and music makers, students who've been playing for just like beginning this year or maybe are in their second year. And the festival is really just to celebrate them in a lot of ways, and also to have some learning and growth happen as well. So bands from all across southern Manitoba will be converging on South Winnipeg for 3 days later this week. They play a couple of pieces, and then they'll receive an adjudication. What that means is they'll work with a clinician who had listened to their performance and will provide them some feedback and maybe try a few things with the band in the short time that they have together. And then they'll also listen to other bands. I mean, that's the best professional development, the best learning.
And more community building too, right?
Exactly.
You get to see what your peers are up to.
Yeah. And that part is just amazing. And, you know, post-COVID, that community building is so important too. Folks really were isolated in a lot of different ways. And so this coming together is really important. And you know, it'll be exciting to do here. And then, as you mentioned, we get to go and do this for a day in Brandon next week. Brandon has just the most amazing community out there. Love hanging out with those folks. You know, music educators all across our province are just the finest humans, and it's always great to connect with them.
So post Level 1 Festival, what's coming up for you and the MBA as you settle into this new role?
Well, as my dad would say, no rest for the wicked. So, right after Brandon, actually, I suspect I'll be getting home at about 9 or 10 o'clock at night next Wednesday evening. And I have a 7 o'clock flight to Halifax the next morning for the Atlantic Music Festival, as well as the National Youth Band closing concert and national meetings for the Canadian Band Association, all kind of happening over a couple of days there on the East Coast. And then back to Winnipeg for junior and intermediate honor bands the following weekend. And that's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be busy, and wishing you and the NBA great success moving forward. Brent, congrats again on the new role, and
Thank
so
you.
excited to see what you do moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Brent Johnson, the new executive director of the Manitoba Band Association. You can follow all of their goings on at mbband.org with links to all of their socials as well. And yes, very excited to follow along as the MBA continues with their busy schedules.